Coming up on Up at Noon, Watch Dogs 2 is fun, but is it accurate to San Francisco? Metal Gear Solid 5 had a lot of stuff cut out of it, and are live-action cartoons the next superhero movie craze? All that and more right now on Up at Noon Live. Ta-da!
We did it!
It's another week has come, and here we are.
How are you?
I'm all right. We get these things in our ears, and they suck.
Don't tell them about the IFBs. They're
Guys,
called IFBs.
we've got parasites. Anyway, hey everybody, welcome to Up at Noon. This is a show that we do every week, and it's live unless you're watching a recording, in which case it isn't. Can you guess if we're live or not? Well, we are. Anyway, we
got
are
this.
live.
I was going to hang back. You got this.
Oh, we do this every week, and it's always stupid. Okay, well, you can watch Up at Noon live on the various following platforms: IGN.com, Twitch.tv/IGN, YouTube.com/IGN, the IGN PS4 and Xbox One, and Roku and Apple TV apps, as well as Facebook. And I think that's it. That's all of them.
Yeah.
And of course, we're also on Twitter, probably too much, probably an unhealthy amount, and we use the hashtag Up at Noon to keep track of what you guys want to know, or, you know, just like chat with us or whatever, like ask us what we're thinking about, or, you know, if we're screwing up, you know, you can always use that and we can find out real good. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyway,
I think that was a solid B- intro.
Yeah. Well, I don't. What do you want? We do a live show at noon on a Thursday.
I'm not going to grade you.
That's a B- time of the week.
This doesn't count in school or anything like that.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Video games are just incredible, probably better than they've ever been right now, and I'm really, really happy with them. I'm doing that weird thing where I'm jumping between like 7 different games, and I feel like an insane person.
Oh yeah,
I don't
totally.
know if you like stick with one until you finish it. If you're watching the show and you're able to do that, I don't know how you do that, because it's incredible of you. Maybe it's a budget thing. Maybe you're just more focused than I am. I am completely incapable of doing that. I jump between Battlefield, Titanfall. I'm playing a bunch of 3DS games. I'm playing games on my iPhone, but mostly Watch Dogs has been the thing that's just consumed me. And I think I've had this weird kind of up and down with it, where I started off being like, this is really cool, and then I was like, there's a lot of stuff that's pissing me off, and then I came back and I was like, actually, this might be my favorite open world game in years.
Yeah, it's definitely, like, it's not mind-blowing, it's not groundbreaking, it's very much a Ubisoft game. You run around, you collect stuff, you climb things, you unlock stuff, and then there's sort of the action stealthy missions. It's a lot of fun, though. It's just fun. It's a good, stupid sandbox game to screw around in.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things about Watch Dogs, obviously, is the fact that it is in our backyard. It's in San Francisco. It's in the Bay Area. It's a lot of familiar sights, and they've done a really, really good job of kind of nailing that vibe.
Yeah.
I mean, we see stuff. You know, like our office is almost in the game.
Yeah.
I mean, the place, like, we'll walk to get coffee and we'll pass stuff that's in the game, and it's very surreal.
Like half of my commute is in the game. My neighborhood's in the game. City Hall, where I got married, is in the game. It's just like really interesting to kind of be like, I'm in a city playing a game that takes place in a city while I'm playing that game. It's very, very meta.
It's dreamlike.
Yeah.
And there's great attention to detail, but there's definitely some stuff that they've screwed up. So I figured, you know, as some Bay Area natives, we can tell you guys the things that are absolutely not in Watch Dogs that totally should be there. Starting with the weather. You know, there's dynamic weather in Watch Dogs, but there is even more dynamic weather in San Francisco in the Bay Area. Obviously, the fog is kind of the most famous thing.
He even has his own name.
Yeah, Carl the Fog. He's on Twitter. But yeah, like the weirdest thing in the Bay Area is that you will drive 2 blocks and suddenly you'll be in an entirely different climate. There's this weird thing that happens where, like, you know, 3 o'clock will roll around and it'll go from being like a beautiful sunny day to like a bizarre foggy dystopia. It looks like a John Carpenter movie.
Which you can account for in the game because you are able to change your clothes all the time and on the fly. But like, we really live in a city where you wake up and it's cold, and you walk to the train and it's hot, and in the middle of the day you're like, I'm in LA, and then at 5 o'clock you're like, it's winter time and it's time for hot cocoa.
Yeah, I mean, like, remember like old N64 games where the draw distance was so bad? Like Turok looks like it's perpetually in fog. There are parts of San Francisco that actually look like that. Yeah. But if they were to put that in Watch Dogs, people would be like, the graphics in this game suck. The draw distance is terrible. I can only see like 200 feet. And it's like, it's kind of.
I didn't think about that. Yeah, you want fog in like a horror game, not an open world game.
Yeah, and then of course one big thing that they totally screwed up on. There are no bicycles. Yeah. Bicycles are a huge part of...
Are we putting this picture up? Don't, look at those butts.
They got like fully rendered vaginas in this game.
That's true, they do.
Like, I don't feel too bad about it. You can shoot cops. What do you want? That's a man's butt cheek.
Yeah, this is actually one of the most bikeable cities in the world.
I was in Amsterdam.
Also
one of the least drivable because of all the cyclists.
Because of all the bikes.
Yeah.
I was in Amsterdam over the summer with our producer Zach Ryan and our news hound Andrew Goldfarb. That's another place where I was just like, bikes own the streets there. there's a hierarchy. Here in San Francisco, there's actually, and it's weird to think about this with this picture of butts on your laptop right now, but there's this thing called the Wiggle, which is basically a way that bike riders can get around the city without going up any major hills and mountains, because they're pretty much everywhere. This is a city full of bikes. There's actually even like bike stands where you can stop and swipe your credit card and hop on a bike and go. And Watch Dogs is all about video, like different vehicles, and there's like pretty much every type of vehicle you can get in. I'm kind of amazed that there's no bicycles.
It's kind of stunning. Like there's a thing called critical mass that happens once a month where the entirety of Market Street is just clogged with bicycles. Like it's like a bike meetup, and it drives everybody crazy who's not on a bike. So it's weird that they don't have that in there. In addition to that, there's also a scourge in San Francisco, which is other alternate forms of transit. Razor scooters are a big one. You see a lot of grown men scootering around like damned idiots.
Yeah, and most of them look like Scott Baio.
Yeah, and then on top of that, you got razor scooters, you've got skateboards, you've got motorized skateboards, there's rollerblades, there's segways, there's hoverboards, and then there's those weird things that look just like seesaws with like large wheels. It's like somebody's like, what if they made a skateboard with one huge wheel? We saw a guy just getting coffee a minute ago, and we're just like, he just looks like a weird mini boss from a game. It's just, it's a weird place to be.
Yeah.
And then in addition to that, there's like about just, I would say 80% too few Priuses in Watch Dogs. Like this is a very, ecologically friendly city, and when Priuses came out, it's like, oh yeah, let's all get an electrical car or whatever.
And to be fair, this is probably one of the only times in recorded history where Max and I will look directly into a camera and say, we need more Priuses.
Yeah.
But if you're making a game that's supposed to be based on a place and you want to be identical to it, you need more Priuses. That's why people drive here. They're stupid and annoying. I get it. They're environmentally sound and safe, and now more than ever, we kind of need stuff like that.
Yeah.
But they're not in the game, so
yeah,
or at least not as many as there should be.
Ubisoft, you screwed up. Another big one, obviously, you can mess with the traffic signals. You can totally just break all kinds of laws. So little things like traffic laws aren't a big deal. But I've always said that the sort of the motto of San Francisco is no left turn, cash only. Like that is the thing. You pay for everything with like, digital currency. You can steal people's money out of their phone or whatever. And you can turn left wherever the hell you want. And in reality, in San Francisco, those are things that are very difficult to do. There's some places that are like...
Along those lines, I will say there's something that Watch Dogs got incredibly correct in that T-shirts and hoodies cost $185 in that game. And that's pretty on point. Because in San Francisco, buying just regular-ass clothes is stupid expensive.
Yep.
Pretty much buying anything. Like lunch is $16.
Yeah. Other thing is, San Francisco is not a great place to drive. One of the worst places is the Bay Area, the Bay Bridge Toll Plaza. Like, sometimes if you're in the carpool lane or whatever, you get through there real quick. But like, if you're going from like, the East Bay to the city, the fact that you get to drive over the bridge, like it's cool to be able to like take control over this digital city and hack into everything and do all kinds of crazy stuff. That's cool. I'm totally enjoying this fantasy world where I don't have to wait in line to get across the Bay Bridge. You just drive out there. So,
dude, there's literally never been more than 6 cars on the Bay Bridge in Watch Dogs 2. It's kind of amazing.
It's lovely.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
And then finally, this is a huge one. There are not enough feces in Watch Dogs.
Ooh,
That's poopy.
Are you sure? That looks like somebody threw a milkshake. Did you take that picture?
Some people are very ill. No, I found that on the internet. I searched San Francisco poo-poo. But yeah, so there should be more feces. I don't know how you show urine in a video game.
Can I add to that list real quick? Left shoes. There are just constantly. San Francisco is a city where you walk around. There are shoes, like just one shoe, and like a crutch. You're always like, could he walk again? Is that what happened here? Like I've seen just wheelchairs where it's like it's a miracle. Like what happened? Yeah, I think it needs more sort of just like garbage type stuff strewn about, and it's poop, syringes, shoes, crutches, wheelchairs.
I hope we get that as DLC. It's just the urban decay of Watch Dogs. Anyway, Watch Dogs 2, a lot of fun. We'll be continuing to play that and mess with people.
Yeah. Franklin Sizemore says, Brian, sometimes I wish your 5 o'clock shadow matched your head hair. There are days where it gets very close.
Yeah?
Right now it's a little off. See, when it gets too scruffy, I get yelled at by my wife. She doesn't like a scruffy head.
Yeah.
And this one gets too long, I shave it down. So, ebb and flow.
All right. So, yeah, one of my favorite games of last year, or just really of ever, Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain. Unfortunately, kind of an unfinished game. It's kind of it's great to imagine what that game could have been if it was really just finished totally. And this book just came out, which I'm extremely happy about. Dark Horse published The Art of Metal Gear Solid 5. This is $40. It, I think, came out like 3 days ago. I sort of, I think, drunkenly pre-ordered it, and then it showed up, and I was very excited, which was nice. And
Isn't
looking
that
through
nice?
it,
It's like getting yourself presents.
Special Christmas. But yeah, this is, I mean, if you've seen video game art books, they can be very hit or miss. This one is definitely a hit. It's got lots of, Yoji Shinkawa, concept art, and then kind of weird in-game stuff. Just really, if you're looking into doing cosplay, this is an awesome resource. It's got lots of cool details.
What I really like about this book is that besides being like ostensibly a picture book and kind of low on narrative, it does a really great job of like theming things where you're like, these are all the patches, these are all the animals, these are all the guns. Like I have a lot of art books that are completely haphazard in the way they tell a story. I think this one's great. It actually almost feels more like a Metal Gear Solid 5 encyclopedia.
Yeah, definitely. It reminds me of those kind of like those, these
Star Wars
books I would check out of the library. They're like, what do guns look like? Oh, by the way, if you like guns, this is full of them. Anyway, what's really cool though is that this shows a lot of concepts. Some of them got used. A lot of them are pretty close to what the finished product was, but there are a few things in there that are totally give away what Metal Gear was going to be doing had they kind of followed through with what they intended to do. Obviously, if you played the game, some of this should be familiar. If you're still getting through it, avert your eyes. There might be some minor spoilers here. D-Dog, your good, faithful companion, is a dog. He gets some funny outfits in the game. Apparently, he was really going to get fully dressed up. There was going to be like gas mask D-Dog and like full battle dress D-Dog. I don't really like he kind of gets sort of an S&M thing going on almost. Like it's a little bit too much clothing for a dog to be wearing. But obviously they were
You actually can't even tell what kind of animal that is by the end. That could be a sheep.
Kind of looks like just Psycho Mantis as a dog.
Yeah, totally.
And then of course, D-Horse, who's cool as well. He had some fun costumes. You got to turn him into a flaming unicorn if you played the game real good. Apparently, he was going to also have a nice Western attire with some buffalo horns, as well as full parade dress, which is like kind of ridiculous. I can totally see that being a thing.
What's that thing on the right? It's sort of like the bottom right is like kind of like a Spartan helmet almost.
Yeah, it's like a crazy marching band horse. And then there was also the battle gear, which was this thing you spend most of the game developing it. It's in some cutscenes, and then it's not in the actual game. Like you never get to drive around in this thing. Apparently, at one point they did implement it, and you could screw around, but it was basically too overpowered. It kind of screwed up the balance of the game. I mean, with a thing that's pretty much just a miniature robot tank, it's sort of difficult to be like, what are you going to fight? You're going to fight either a Metal Gear or a whole lot of dudes, and I think it probably was just, not really fitting the Metal Gear.
Well, this would have been great for those vanishing, disappearing psycho.
Oh, I would have loved to.
What are those guys again?
The skulls.
Oh, the skull.
Yeah,
I hate them.
those guys.
I get like terrified just seeing pictures.
But yeah, there's some close-ups of what it was actually going to do. It looks like it kind of was going to. It's got kind of silly, funny legs. It kind of got up on its haunches or whatever. I love this kind of stuff. There's also there's an image in here of a force field. It's really, really small, but it was going to have like all these different kind of weapons and gizmos and gadgets. Here's a photo of it. I guess it gets all kind of gets all worked up and gets on its rear. I love this stuff. I just love like seeing what could have been. This could have been something they also scrapped early on and just it wasn't in there. But obviously we wanted that in the game. This one I can't remember if this is in the game. I feel like it's not. It's like a cool little funny truck. I like this wiggly little tank, like these funny wheels. I just want a toy of this. I think it's cool as hell. I feel like that might be in there and I just forgot. But anyway, it's a cool truck. Sorry for showing it to you if you've already seen it. And then here's a real big one. Chico, who presumably dies in Ground Zeroes or just disappears or whatever. Looks like he was going to come back as a boss, and a really terrifying one at that. He's kind of got like I know what you did last summer. I know what you did last game, I guess.
Yeah, he's got this sort of like Hatchet Man, Imperial Guard Jedi thing going on. Very tattered. I love this. This is awesome.
So yeah, this is probably the big reveal of what's in the art book. Just a lot of cool stuff in general. If you're on the fence about it, I say go for it. I'm just really happy to have something that kind of goes in depth on this. One thing that's really totally nuts is if you haven't seen it, the ending of Metal Gear Solid 5 does sort of exist in a halfway finished form. It's a really weird that they didn't really publicize this more. They've got a bunch of cutscenes that were like 30% rendered, as well as a bunch of animatics and kind of storyboards that they cut together to basically make like, here's what could have been, and it was included in a Blu-ray that came with like the special edition of Metal Gear Solid 5, so it kind of got buried.
Yeah.
You can find it on YouTube. It's like half an hour that shows some very weird stuff with Liquid Snake and basically a little bit of a tease of what sort of the third area of the game would have been.
Which is also in the art book, right? You were showing me some of that.
It's in the very,
it's really
very
cool.
last.
It's very interesting to see, like, they built this entire location, and then we're like, yeah, we can't do it.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks. I don't think we're ever going to see Metal Gear Solid 5 finished. It's
Nope.
just, it's not going to happen. It's a Hideo Kojima joint, and he's off doing, Death Stranding. But yeah, Metal Gear Survive coming soon. Yeah. So Metal Gear's in a weird place. We're getting Metal Gear Survive next year, and then of course, if you're a big fan of pachinko machines,
Those big, loud, clanging balls.
yeah, we got some new images from what the Snake Eater pachinko machine is looking like, and it sucks. It's so gorgeous. This is like probably the closest we're gonna get to a proper like remake of Snake Eater.
Yeah.
But like this is, I'm presumably running in Fox Engine. It's weird to see a version of Snake in that fidelity who is clearly not modeled after Kiefer Sutherland.
Yeah.
You got Ava there, and then there's the Sorrow. My voice is cracked real good there. I'm having super puberty. But yeah, like this is such like a what if. It sucks that we're gonna be like, oh yeah, here's what it looks like, in action. This is the Fox engine. This is that wonderful video game engine that made these gorgeous things. And they're like, yeah, let's use it for a handful of cutscenes that play over a screaming, jangling balls that you put coins into.
Yeah, while 40 people are smoking cigarettes in your face.
This is kind of old, but like look at.
Yeah, so like this is what sucks. All of this art direction is awesome. Everything going into this is really, really cool. But this is not a game you'll be able to play on consoles. So all of this art, all of these renders, I'm going to go flat out and just say they're being wasted on a pachinko machine. Now, pachinko, obviously, if you're into that, that's great. That's really cool to get this. But if you're in a Metal Gear and you don't live in Japan, and you just want more stuff, or you love Snake Eater like I do and like Max does, like it sucks that we're not just getting this.
Yeah,
you know?
Look at this. It's the end of Metal Gear Solid 3, but it's in a friggin' pachinko machine. Look at that. Why aren't we getting this as a game?
Yeah,
I'm so mad about this.
So what do you think are the odds that they'll take these renders and they'll recreate Metal Gear Solid 3? And they'll put it out without Kojima's help. Konami needs the money.
I mean, it wouldn't be the first time. We got Twin Snakes on the GameCube, which was that was what, Digital Knights, and they took Metal Gear Solid 1 and they dumped it into the engine for 2, and Kojima apparently hated it and washed his hands of it. So it's not the first time that Konami sort of had like a, kind of a cash in, but like I kind of hope that we get. It'd be awesome to get Snake Eater all over again, if they just use his his stuff as sort of a platformer, as a skeleton for what the game should be, and then just dump it in Fox Engine and give us the controls of Phantom Pain and adjust the gameplay as much as you can.
Now this trailer is old, obviously, but all those renders we showed at the top of this are brand new, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is like. It was one thing to get that trailer a few months back, but to get these new renders and just be consistently reminded that this is where the Metal Gear franchise is, really, really bums me out.
Yeah, it sucks.
I don't know what do you do as fans, right? Like, do you send letters? Do you start a petition? Like, how do you get the voice out that like we want to see something made with this that's an actual, tangible, playable video game that isn't just a screaming loud sarcophagus of metal balls falling while people chain smoke cigarettes?
I don't know. I mean, write your representatives, I guess.
Yeah.
I have a feeling Konami doesn't really care, but you never know.
Yeah. In the meantime, I've been having a very difficult time being a old school Nintendo fan. If you are a fan of Nintendo, and how could you not be? You probably heard about the classic NES Mini or the NES Mini Classic or the Classic NES. It's called different things in different places. I was able to get my hands on a Famicom Mini thanks to a friend at work, but the actual Classic NES is pretty much impossible to find. Nintendo's made this thing in short supplies. It doesn't bode well for the way they're going to sell the Nintendo Switch. It's kind of the same way they sold Amiibo, or 6 months later they had put out these apology tweets. It's just been very, very hard to find. It's basically a small box that has 30 ROMs in it. You hook it up via USB and HDMI to your television, and you're reliving classic games. Nintendo didn't make all the classic games in the world. They made a bunch of them. They worked with some third parties like Capcom and Square Enix. But what we did find was a company named Retrobit made a very similar console that you can actually purchase right now. It's $60. It's the same exact price as the NES Mini, but it's got 90 games in it, actually close to 100. So let's talk about this thing. We're going to tear this open real quick. This is available right now. It's on Amazon. You can actually purchase it. And I'm really into this thing. It's got a very different array of games. You're not going to get Mario, you're not going to get Zelda, but you're going to get some cool stuff like Super Ghouls and Ghosts. There's a lot of Capcom games, a lot of Jalico, Data East. Like if you grew up on...
Yeah, it's got Bionic Commando, It's got Commando, regular Commando.
Super R-Type, 1943. Really cool selection of NES, Super NES games. again, this is not like your basically, this is not your Marios and Zeldas, but if you grew up with video games back in the 80s and 90s, you might remember some of these like kind of like lesser known heroes that I won't call them B tier because I think Super Ghouls and Ghosts is one of the greatest games of all time.
Who could forget Rodland?
Yeah, Rodland.
Beloved Rodland.
So this is $60. It comes with 2 USB style Genesis controllers, which are right here. You take a look real quick. I like these
They
a
come
lot.
in these fun bags, which aren't toys, but you know they could be if you're poor, I guess.
So major thing here is it's got a mode button on the top, which lets you interact with the console itself. The NES Mini doesn't let you do that. You have to actually get up and hit the button on it.
It comes with a whole instruction manual.
Yeah, let's take a look at the console itself. So 2 USB ports on the front. We tested out the length of these controllers. I want to point out the NES Mini has controllers that are 2.5 feet long. These are about 2 or 3 times that. So
is that USB?
yes.
So presumably it could also work with a PC, maybe?
Yeah, so you can,
cool.
and that's the other thing, it's not proprietary like the NES Mini, not to keep comparing it, but I think we should. On the back, you have 2 different types of ports. You have AV outputs. You also have HDMI, so let's take a look right back there. Another interesting thing you might see back here is the SD card slot. SD card slot here lets you basically, now a lot of complaints about the NES Mini was that, stop it, was that you, please, okay, don't do that. Great, that's good job, Max, you're 5. The NES Mini doesn't let you upload new games to it. You can't connect it to the internet. You can't put anything new on it. Great, Max, okay, you're done. But this one, because it has a card slot, lets you actually put saves on it, lets you upload and download saves. So presumably, you'll be able to hack this thing and put ROMs on it, which is really awesome. And because it's got USB controllers, you'll be able to use a number of different controllers. They sent me an N64 USB controller with this thing, so that'll work as well. Again,
cool.
$60, it's on Amazon right now. It's almost 100 games, and you don't have to wait in line, camp out, or freeze to death outside of a Walmart.
Yeah, and
so
it
that's
comes
good.
with all of these different cords that you just kind of put them on there. You know, yeah.
Great. Okay.
Yeah. I think it was a good unboxing.
Yeah, well, one of us.
I think we did a good job.
One of us figured it out.
Teamwork.
Yep.
Is the key.
Sure. That was like when a dog gets on the baseball field. Bloodborne. One of the best games of this generation, hands down. One of the most vicious, surreal, awful, miserable nightmare of a game that I absolutely love. That game completely haunted me for a long time.
Pretty much everything in that game is terrifying and hideous
and wet
and looks like it would smell very bad.
Yeah, covered in horsehair. But if you love Bloodborne and you don't want to scare everyone at work, I have something just for you.
Oh, hello, little guy.
Here he is.
Hi, little Bloodborne man.
There he is. These are called Stubbins. They're $15. Yeah, they're $15 each. There's actually an entire set of them. You'll be able to buy them at PSX.
Aww.
This is definitely the cutest that Bloodborne's ever been. So you've got his basically his weapons that you can choose from.
He's got his little musket.
His little musket. His little like these things are really cool. They'll be available at PSX. I believe this one's PSX exclusive for now, which is the PlayStation conference coming up very soon in December in Anaheim. I'll be there, so come say what's up. This thing's adorable. I'm not really big into like the super deformed, almost like Funko Pop style kind of chibi, bobblehead kind of junk. But this is really cute. I'm really into this.
I like it specifically because there is such a disparity between Bloodborne's just horribleness and a little cutie, like a little cute guy.
I totally agree.
I kind of want some like super deformed like Bloodborne bosses. Like I want that awful like wolf that's throwing up or whatever.
Yeah, that deer horse thing covered in bones.
If Bloodborne isn't your jam, they also have a handful of other ones here. I like Parappa the Rappa a lot. I think it's great that he's in there. You got
he's the one that looks the most like his original form here. I guess Sackboy as well.
Yeah, which word is you can unzip Sackboy. That's a functional zipper.
Yeah, you can put anything you want.
It feels real suggestive and weird. There's not like a pocket or anything, but it's. I don't know about that one, but yeah, Nathan Drake's pretty cool. But yeah, these are fun little guys.
There's Ratchet back there hanging out, being a weird cat dude.
So yeah. Grab some stuffed animals to go with your video games.
That's right. Make your desk look pretty. Speaking
of cute little things, we played a game called Mecha Zoo, which is about a mechanical zoo full of animals. Let's take a look.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Brian and Max, and we are playing Mecha Zoo, which is a 2D, 3D, 2.5D old-school platformer on PS4, Xbox One, and PC. I did not know about this game. I just found out about it the other day, and it's really adorable.
It's about a bunch of little animals. I think they're mechanical animals. I'm currently an armadillo.
Do you think they know they're mechanical animals?
I don't know, but they look at the little cutie boy.
Oh, he is adorable.
Hello, you little muffin.
Hi, little one.
Okay, so I guess I'm after that frog.
Oh, wow.
Whatever the hell that is. Okay.
I'm into this. Oh, God. Is that it?
I missed this kind of like, here's your story. And you're like, what story? What is it? What's happening? So as you can see, I can do a little bit of Sonic the Hedgehog-y.
Oh, yeah.
A little bit of a
wow.
spinny
This
boy.
is like really, really cool looking. Okay, so
I would kill a real armadillo, but this is a mechanical armadillo, so it's all good.
So, like, yeah, this art direction is pretty wild. I'm kind of into it. Oh, it said the name of the game back there. That was pretty smart, in case the animals forget where they are.
Yeah.
So, are you sure they know they're robots?
No idea.
Okay, because I think becoming self-aware, that's a big issue on Westworld right now.
Yeah. Okay, so these guys here, I gotta figure out how to... What are these weird orbs? Oh, okay.
Oh, cool.
Donkey Kong barrels, but they're shaped like, I don't know, Google Map pins.
Yeah, this is sort of like if Tron kind of infused with like a modern-day version of a Super Nintendo game.
Yeah, it's, I mean...
I'm into all that.
I love getting that kind of like, you know, old school sensibility.
Yeah. It's definitely got some good sort of kinetic energy movement here once
Yeah,
you get going.
It feels pretty good.
Yeah. And you know what I like about this game? Very minimal HUD, and there isn't like a timer in the corner.
Yeah, you don't need a friggin' like. There's a little one up there, but like, yeah, you don't need a HUD when you're an armadillo.
Yeah.
Most animals don't have HUDs.
That's true. They don't have to worry about that. They don't have phones either. I think I would like a video of just animals trying to figure out what a phone is.
They
I think
have
most of
those.
them- really?
Yeah, they also got TV shows for animals now.
Whoa, what is
They got
going on here?
I don't know. I'm tripping balls or something.
We're in the reboot.
Yeah. They got TV shows for cats and dogs.
Yep.
My dog loves to watch the show that's actually for cats.
Mm-hmm.
It's they got it on Amazon Prime. It's just these like clip art cockroaches that are like running around on screen, like a bad Flash game.
Yep.
And it just goes, like makes this weird like cricket noise, and he just like stares at it. He stares at the screen. It's really great. But yeah, like it's weird that my dog has a favorite TV show.
Yeah.
He doesn't like any of our he doesn't like Westworld. He doesn't like any of our TV shows. I don't know. I don't know. Like, I know they show porn to pandas sometimes.
Yeah, they have to do that to get them going.
Yeah, and even that doesn't work because pandas just aren't. They don't do that.
Absolutely not. Yeah, this looks like one of probably my favorite Sonic the Hedgehog game in a while.
Yeah.
Ooh, what were those guys? Dropping bombs on those bees?
Yeah.
So I noticed there's some other types of animals you're dealing with here. I like some slugs.
Yeah, little nasty boys. I'm honestly, I'm not really finding a ton of difficulty here. I guess I'm. It's one of those things where I'm like, is it easy, or am I doing okay, or is it just sort of? What are you going?
You and I saw banana slugs in the wild the other day,
You
or
didn't
at least
show me.
I did.
You saw newts and you saw banana slugs. I didn't see any of these animals. You were right there. You could have come and seen me, and you know.
Yeah, we were in the woods doing a Tomb Raider thing. That sounds weird. We'll explain.
Like we do.
We were trying to make a shelter, and I picked up a bunch of dirt, and there was just this big, fat, yellow... It was actually one of the brightest colors I've ever seen in the wild outside of, like, a bird.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this guy.
Awful toad.
So we have our first boss fight here.
Oh, cool. Okay. Oh, I get it.
Oh, did you get hurt?
Probably.
But you got to drop those honeycombs
I
on there.
see.
Ooh, that is a nice tongue.
Come on, you nasty boy.
Gross.
There we
You
go.
got him. Nice.
Wow, this is some really gnarly music for a game about an armadillo. Where's that frog?
I think you killed him.
Really? That
Yeah,
was
you got to
easy?
kill these flies, because that's his food. That's basically
Oh, he's probably
his-
going to come up and try to eat these bee-boys. Oh, there he is.
Oh yeah, he's going for it. Yeah, I really like the sort of like 2.5D platformer stuff. Like again, like we're seeing a small resurgence in platforming in this year and next year, and I'm really excited for it. Like I'm really looking forward to Ukulele. This is like a cool thing to hold us over.
Yeah,
until
ukulele is going to be fun, I think.
then. Yeah, I mean there was like an era where these were games every single day. This is like you get a new version of something like this, and then they stopped. So I'm pretty happy that people care enough to bring that
I want
back.
a new Gex. I want a new Gex that's running in like the stuff that you got Tomb Raider running in.
I feel like
Tomb Raider
the
and Hitman.
people that made Mechazoo should make a new Gex, because that's like this. Just put Gex in this engine.
Yeah.
What is he? He's like a cool ass gecko with sunglasses. I think he smokes.
Yeah, probably. Oh, well, that was easy. Is it third time's a charm? Get out of here, you toad. Was he drinking that stuff?
I think he's gonna throw up. He's gonna get very sick.
You ever have
he's not doing good. Oh,
That's pretty violent for a children's game. I don't know how I feel about that.
nice. We open up at a dimensional portal. Do we?
All
Did we
right.
get his tongue power?
Oh, I hope so.
I think we got
this,
his tongue
this
power.
might get really
yeah,
interesting
get that
right here.
tongue orb.
Oh. Oh, I'm a frog.
we're a frog now.
I'm a frog. I'm a frog.
All right.
Ooh,
hey, little man.
Little flirty frog there.
All right, this is Mechazoo. It's on PS4, Xbox One, and PC. You can be different robot animals. I don't know if they know what they are, but they seem happy anyway.
Oh, look at the little guy.
Wow, he's so happy to be flying through this dystopia.
I hate being a human being. It sucks.
It really does suck. We
Yeah.
don't get any cool powers. Ooh, the mother brain. Anyway, thanks for watching.
Welcome back to the show. It's still going. We're continuing to do the show. How's it going over there?
It's going great.
Is it working out okay?
Yeah, we're doing good. You and I had a very interesting Saturday.
Yeah, we went on a field trip.
We did.
Yeah, so Tomb Raider turns 20 this year. It's 20th anniversary of Lara Croft. You know, it's kind of cool to be like I still remember when that was a new series, so it's like weird to be kind of old like that. We got to go on kind of a Lara Croft Tomb Raider adventure training day. We got to learn how to be real Tomb Raiders by going to the woods.
That's true. We got an email from Square Enix, and they were like, we're putting together this thing with fans and with cosplayers, and we want to invite some IGN friends to come hang out for the day up in the Santa Cruz Mountains here in California. So we got in a car with Kyle, who works here on our social team, and Naomi, who's a host here. And we spent an entire day in the woods learning survival training techniques, which is really odd for us because we live in a major city.
Yeah.
But, you know,
we're
times are changing. Who knows when you'll ever need to use skills like that.
Yeah, I feel like we're incrementally less useless as human beings.
Yeah.
We're kind of just idiot city slickers for the most part, but it was cool to go out and do that sort of like, here's how you build a house out of leaves. But yeah, here's us, hanging out, being dumb. You know, I feel like we look like camp counselors there.
Yeah, it was cool. They gave us like those like survivor buffs basically to wear. So this is really fun. We spent the day out in the woods. Max, let's take a look at some of the cool stuff we did. So this is the big sort of camp area they had us in. When we pulled up, I was like, oh, this is going to be like being in 5th grade again. This is going to be lame. Turns out it was actually really fun. So we worked with this guy who works for this company called Adventure Out. This is Cliff. You might have seen him on TV. Cliff Hodges. And Adventure Out is basically a group of people that organize trips out into the wilderness. They do stuff like surviving a night in the Arctic snow tundra and staying out in the woods and apparently covering yourself in mud and shooting an animal so the last thing he sees is sheer terror.
Yeah, just a real nude man.
Yeah. So this is a shelter we actually built from scratch. This is Jen Croft, who's a cosplayer, who's on my team. We actually split up into different teams, and we're given points based on that. So these are shelters we built with 45 minutes to go. Using basically one big long crossbar, which was a big dead tree we could find, and then building Y-shaped things around it to sort of make ribs, and then stacking even more stuff on top. We built a shelter, rudimentary, but enough to kind of stay the night in for one person, or two if you snuggle. Yeah. And it was kind of gross and terrifying.
Oh, it was awful. Yeah,
we're pulling up all sorts of like mulch and just.
You found newts?
I found a newt. Like we found a banana slug that was just like this fat yellow neon-looking thing. It's just very gross. One thing they did say we could do is you could start a fire right in the entrance of this thing and smoke it out. But now I know, like if something goes horribly awry, I can make a rudimentary shelter to last the night.
Yeah.
45 minutes.
Here's my house. Check it out. I'm hiding in it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we even made these doors. You guys made a wreath for the door here.
We actually stole the one that the guy who was demoing it did. I mean, we just found it in the woods.
And I will say that these houses, they do not photograph well. I tried to take a bunch of pictures of it. It just looks like we hid in a mound of dirt.
Yeah, they look like compost heaps. But
which I think is good for a bear, right?
Yeah, it's cool because people can't find you.
Yeah.
And then we learned how to make fire, which I feel like I actually did do in 5th grade. It's kind of, what's cool about this is all stuff you feel like you could kind of figure out, but it would involve some trial and error. So it's cool to have like survival dudes being like, yeah, this is less likely to give you hypothermia.
Yep.
You still might get hypothermia, you idiot, but you know. It might be better, but yeah, we.
So this was basically taking a stick, bending it, using some sort of like shoelace or cord or anything like that, and then taking another stick that you kind of whittle down a little bit with a knife, putting a flat thing on top, and just going as fast as possible until it started creating friction, which then you took that little tinder and you dropped it into something and lit a fire.
Yeah, and then of course we actually made bundle bows, which were functional bows just made out of, they were like paracord and sticks.
Yeah.
That was it.
So this is actually the bow that Lara starts off with in Rise of the Tomb Raider, one of my favorite games of the last few years. Really, really cool. You just take sticks and you, of different lengths, short ones, medium ones, long ones, and you make this long thing and tie it together and you're hunting within a few minutes. Like, kind of incredible. Yeah. Again, this is Jen Croft, one of the cosplayers I was working with. It was really surreal to look over and see cosplayers as Lara Croft.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's just disorienting to be like, and like Jen Croft, like she nailed it. Like it was funny because she showed up and she was like kind of covered in fake blood, and then she proceeds to get in like a fake house, and then she looked increasingly dirty, and it was like, well, you're really getting in there.
Yeah,
that's working out. But yeah, here's the reinforced bow.
Yeah, this is what they actually look like in the game, if you remember. So it's really cool to just go out in the wild and be like, hey, we're making video game weapons in the woods today.
Yeah, also like Cliff, the survival guy, was like, hey, so if you're actually in the woods and you're actually starving, I recommend pretty much anything but trying to make a bow and arrow.
Yeah.
Maybe a long stick, start with that.
Yeah, he said basically make spears, throw them at rabbits and stuff like that. Yeah. This is Salem Croft and Jen Croft that we worked with. Again, really surreal to be working with 2 Tomb Raider cosplayers while we were doing Tomb Raider stuff out in the woods. Yeah, just really awesome. So it was just really cool how this whole thing came together.
Yeah, it was fun.
There was some other stuff we learned, like sort of like water purification using hot rocks when you're fire and stuff like that. But yeah, this is a thing you can do. Like, look up Adventure Out, look up places in your town. If you're like me and Max, you're probably indoors playing video games most of the time. You're watching stuff on TV. You don't really have an excuse. Like, I'll be totally honest with you. On Saturday, I was going to wake up at like 10 a.m., maybe make a Bloody Mary and sit around and play Watch Dogs all day.
Yeah, or Tomb Raider, yeah.
Or Tomb Raider. Instead, I was like, hey, we're getting in a car, we're going out in the woods. It doesn't feel corny, it actually feels really cool. So yeah, look up Adventure Out, look up programs like this in your town, in your region, and get out there and make a fire.
Yeah, burn stuff.
Burn stuff.
Learn how to do it first, though.
And shoot it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Brian, it's come to that time of the show where we have to talk about Star Wars again because we have brain problems.
Yep.
Obviously, they make Star Wars pretty much everything at this point. It's one of the most successful merchandising licenses in human history. The concept of Star Wars socks isn't so far-fetched. Everyone loves socks. You put them on your feet, and they keep your feet from sticking to the inside of your shoes.
Yeah, so we got this company named Stance that's actually making Star Wars socks. Max, you and I actually own a couple pairs of these.
They're good socks.
Yeah,
they're well-made
really
socks.
good socks. And they should be because they're pretty expensive. There's a clothing store in my neighborhood that sells Stance socks. They sell Wu-Tang ones too, which I'm really bummed I missed out on. These are really cool. This is an awesome little set. What do you think this goes for, Max?
Oh, gee whiz, I don't know. That's like what? That's like 12 pairs of socks.
Yeah.
That's I don't know, maybe $80.
Yeah, I mean, it's $8 a pair, $9, $10 a pair. Try $280.
Yeah.
$280 for 12 pairs of socks, which roughly comes out to $23 a sock. Or no, $23 a pair.
Yeah.
Which is 12, and I'm not doing that math.
It's a lot of money for socks.
It's kind of ridiculous because I like these. I like the idea of these. I want to support cool artists. I want to support cool merchandise.
How much was that leather jacket?
I don't want to say.
Okay, well, the point is, leather jackets, you can get one for $280.
Yes.
You can get multiple pairs of shoes for $280.
Yeah.
I love Star Wars. I love those Boba Fett socks. I might try to track those down on their own. But like, come on. $280 for 12 pairs of socks, that's highway robbery.
Yeah, it's also like,
come on, Grand Moff Tarkin.
Yeah,
like,
who wants him?
Yeah, like, come on, that's lame.
It's like having Vincent Price socks.
Yeah. Grand
Which I
Moff
think, Max,
Tarkin's
you'd be
fine
into.
in the canon, but
Also,
like as a sock, it just looks like an old Nazi.
I don't like what a lot of these dudes are doing with their hands either. They're just like, can we go back to that shot real quick?
Yeah, that's real weird.
Look what Lando's
3PO
doing.
literally cannot do that.
Lando's looking like he's about to lean down and be like, all right, so now I caught you smoking, but I don't want you smoking, and here's why.
Yeah, they all look like soccer coaches.
Yeah, it's not good.
Damn it, I made an accidental pun there.
Really?
Soccer coach? It's
Got it.
Anyway, yeah, socks. Don't pay more than 49 cents a pair.
What? No.
Yeah,
No.
get yourself some real cheapo socks.
Listen,
get
man,
the cheapest socks you can afford.
Get yourself some good socks. Quick PSA. Go after the show. Go through your boxer shorts, your underwears, your socks. Take all the stuff that has holes and stains, throw it in the trash. Go get some new stuff. Every 6 months or so, do some inventory on all that junk. That's all around
Everyone
you.
loves new socks.
Yeah, get
but
some
it's
new
like
socks.
they're not fun to buy them, but it's fun to wear new ones.
That's true.
And this concludes our segment on socks.
Sock talk.
All right, so on the subject of things that cost a whole bunch of money, Final Fantasy 15 is just around the corner, presumably, assuming they don't push it back again. Hotly anticipated game. I feel like the last Final Fantasy which was in fact, 3 games, was kind of just like a lot of people sort of were, some people were into it, but it sort of just, everyone was sort of sick of lightning by the end of it. Final Fantasy fans are now mad at me. 15 looks like a lot of people are back on board. There's tons of hype running around this. There's lots of merchandise already. An Audi R8 is not the immediate thing I think of when I think Final Fantasy, but here we are. It's a real weird future. This is a limited edition Final Fantasy 15 Audi R8, and it costs $470,000 approximately.
Really?
This is being sold in Japan, home of the Audi. And it's we've got an ad for it actually. Can we see about rolling that in here?
Sure.
But yeah, basically, I mean, we've seen plenty of like limited edition video game cars before. I think there was a Call of Duty Jeep here. There was like they usually do them as some kind of a contest. They're like, win a Halo truck. It's a custom job. This is just being sold. And I was also just looking just before the show. There is a limited edition Final Fantasy 15 menu at Jamie Oliver's restaurant, which is called 15.
Yeah.
Like,
which
I feel
is very interesting because I went through the menu. It's all cheese themed.
That's very odd. That's very, very odd. I mean, it's cool to see higher end video game kind of product integrations or whatever, but like,
Yeah, I don't know about this one. It kind of looks like Jack Skellington's Gothic Christmas whip. I mean, it's got like giant snowflakes on the hubcaps and stuff like that.
I think it's pretty cool. I mean, it definitely fits the style of. Look at the rims are badass. What's funny is like it's the R8 Star of Lucis. They've got all these like this filigree. It's a cool intersection, like much like the rest of the game, of like kind of almost whimsical, like medieval, aesthetic, and also just like modern technology.
Yep.
Look at those guys.
This actually looks pretty cool up close like this.
I mean, if they sold those on their own, I feel like it would be kind of cool. Like, I'm gonna get some Final Fantasy rims. That's badass. But yeah, so that's Final Fantasy the car. I mean,
Final Fantasy the car.
You got to be a very, very special person to.
Will you be able to drive this car in the game?
I think it's similar to the one in the game, but the one in the game actually turns into a flying machine. So there's that.
So while we're here, let's talk about Final Fantasy 15's Jamie Oliver 15's set menu. This is their collaboration Max just hinted to. I'm going to read you the actual menu here. You can tell me if you're hungry or not. It starts with a risotto bubble and squeak, beer pickled onion, Berkswell cheese. Your main is a short rib, Yukon Gold mash, garlic, Montgomery cheddar. Classic Final Fantasy right there. And the dessert, a yuzu cheesecake, blueberry compote, and ginger crumble. That sounds incredibly delicious. I'm hungry right now. I'm hungry always.
Yeah.
But I'm hungry right now.
What do you think that has to do with Final Fantasy?
Nothing.
Exactly.
Nothing. Money.
Yeah.
It has to do with money.
So yeah, there you go. So we've had a ton of superhero movies. That's kind of been the thing. Comic book movies are sort of I would say the most obvious trend in movie culture of the last decade and a half. Since X-Men blew up at the box office in 2000, 1999. It's kind of been nonstop. Marvel's got it down to a science. DC's figuring it out. It's been announced that there's some live-action versions of cartoons in the work. We've gotten a few already. We got The Jungle Book, and then just around the corner, we just got trailers this week for Ghost in the Shell, which is coming from Paramount, obviously remake of the classic anime, and Beauty and the Beast coming from Disney, which is just a shot-for-shot remake of the cartoon. I think live-action versions of beloved cartoons are the next comic book movie. I think that they have basically exhausted comics, short of rebooting stuff or really digging deep. But this isn't just a theory. There's a lot of stuff in the works currently. Disney, at the moment, currently has, in some stage of production, and this isn't even all of them, they have The Lion King, The Little Mermaid, Mulan, Sleeping Beauty, 101 Dalmatians, which I think is being told from Cruella de Vil's angle, a Peter Pan, which is done from Tinkerbell's perspective.
Yep.
And then
You say Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers too?
Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers.
Really? They're making a live action version of that?
I want that very badly.
I'm
I think
into that.
That would be very cool.
Those little detective rats?
I hope they take down ISIS.
Yeah.
But yeah, in addition to that, there's also a ton of anime in the works. There's been talk for ages about Akira. Robert Rodriguez, I think, is taking over James Cameron's much talked about Battle Angel Alita. There's talk of a Death Note movie, Bleach. I think Tobey Maguire is involved with Robotech. I think I heard that right. There's Naruto. There's no way they're going to screw that up. And then there's Beyblade, which is, again, kind of an odd one. Lone Wolf and Cub. I completely forgot there's also been talk of an Evangelion movie. And then on top of that, you've also got He-Man, which is, I think, Big G, who directed Terminator Salvation.
Yep.
And then Leonardo DiCaprio is talking about doing Captain Planet, which has been kicked around for a while.
Which we did a fake casting for the other day.
And that's like not even accounting for whatever kid grade stuff.
Yep.
Like, are they going to do a live action Yogi Bear movie? Did they do one already?
Yes, they
Okay,
did.
so you go
because the poster said "Good things come in bears."
Oh, okay. But yeah, so that's I think that's the next big thing. I think it's going to be. I think they're going to try to do video game adaptations and maybe eventually someday get it right. But I think until then, the safest thing is being like, hey, How about that Lion King movie? What if we did that with CG lions?
And here's why I love this, right? Here's why, going on your thesis, which I completely agree with, that basically cartoon movies turned live action are the new comic book movies. The reason I love that is because comic book movies, as much as I adore them, are pretty much predictable. Like, they either fall on like the origin story thing, there's the sort of like the team get up thing. It's a battle of good versus evil. You went through all of these stories. These are all over the place in terms of like thematic, in terms of like villains, in terms of like just the architecture in which their narratives are told. I love that because when I go, oh, it's another cartoon movie turned live action, I'm not going to be like, is it an origin story?
Yeah.
Is it a battle of good and evil? Like, it could be pretty much anything. I mean, a lot of them fall into battle of good and evil, right? You've got man versus man, man versus monster, man versus machine, animal versus man, multiple animals versus cartoon cat who smokes a cigar.
I really want a live action Rescuers movie.
Yeah.
I want that to be like The Expendables, but with mice. I mean, I guess Rescue Rangers is pretty close. I like the idea of just a really hard, gritty, just like badass Rescue Rangers. I want like
they made a live action 101 Dalmatians.
Yeah, with Glenn
movie.
Close. They did too.
Yeah, they did
102
too, right?
Dalmatians. They had like, I like that those dogs are like pumping out puppies, and then they're like, yeah, this next round we're just gonna have one. And you're like, oh, that's a weird fertility cycle.
What a weird
Okay.
sick woman. What was her thing? She got like electrocuted in the head, and that's why her hair was all screwed up. She looked like Bride of Frankenstein.
I think
she
that
wanted
was
to wear
Rogue.
She wanted to wear
X-Men.
puppy coats.
All right, yeah,
This sick ass lady.
yeah.
Get it together, Glenn Close.
So yeah, on the subject of cartoons and movies and live action and all that, there's been talk for a second of a modern Space Jam, a sequel to that old classic. I think, what was it? Who was involved with that? I don't know. Some basketball player.
LeBron James.
LeBron James.
Yeah, was supposed to basically replace Michael Jordan.
Yeah, I mean,
Michael Jordan is too busy being that crying meme now.
Yeah, that's terrible. Space Jam turned 20 this week, and this is one of my kind of favorite things on the internet. Their website from 20 years ago is still up. For context, IGN is also 20 years old as a website, but we actually redo our website periodically and update it. They haven't done that. This has a sitemap. Wow! Look at all these. Look at these fonts. This tells you what every part of the site is because apparently this wasn't clear enough. So they have like basically a table of contents. I like this part. Oh, the lineup. What's in here? Oh wow! Look at this. Oh, player bios, cast bios. I need to learn more about the bad guys. Oh no, the Monstars and the Nerdlucks.
This is what the internet used to look like.
Yeah.
Wow.
Look at that.
I can't believe all this is still up.
Isn't this cool? My favorite, the Monster Nada. I like these guys.
I think you just saved that picture.
Uh-oh. Did I really?
Look at the game. Hold on, go
did
back.
I
Did you
seriously?
see that? Look at that. Look at that thing that's spinning. Scroll down. There's a thing that says games, and it's just going nuts.
Oh man, I love games. Wow, trivia quiz. What rival calls Bugs a long-eared galoot?
It's got to be.
I think it's Yosemite Sam.
Yeah, Wile E. Coyote doesn't really talk.
We're
that much.
correct. Man, how old is Bugs Bunny?
56.
You think
Well,
so?
This is 20 years
yeah.
ago.
Wow, we're right.
I'm killing it, man.
Yeah, you're doing great. You're really good at it's Mel Blanc.
Yep.
Yeah,
We're-
we're good
this
at
is
Space Jam.
awesome.
So one part I really like, you go over to Jam Central, the trailer. It's 7.5 megs, guys, and it's worth it.
That ever hit a. Wow.
Also, you can't even watch it in your browser.
I think you just downloaded it.
Like we watch these featurettes. Oh wow, 1.2 megs. Oh boy. Oh boy.
I love
oh,
that they tell
boy.
you how many megs it is.
I like Planet B-Ball personally. Do you remember QTVRs?
Yeah.
That were like QuickTime virtual reality? You can look at Michael Jordan's gym. Like what?
The Jordan Dome's gym.
Yeah. Oh wow, look at all the kilobytes here. Meet the characters. This one's great. The coloring book. Since you probably know how to use the computer better than mommy or daddy, use the printer to print out these coloring books.
What?
Okay. Space Jam.
Oh, how
Back
did
to
he-
the coloring book.
He got a love-themed basketball hoop. I hated this little turd. Dude.
Also, they have like the weirdest lineup. That's real weird. I don't know how I
Sick.
feel about that.
It's real sick.
Back to the coloring book. Remember when they had to be like, how to use frames on your browser? Neat
Yep.
stuff to look at. Oh my God, this is so stupid.
Here are pictures.
Bruce Talamon put all these pictures up here. Anyway, Space Jam. Happy 20th birthday. I hope we get a new one soon, and I hope it gets a great new website.
Next year, we're going out drinking Space Jam.
Yeah,
So get
next
ready.
year, we're going to get Space Jam drunk.
Hell yeah.
So also on the internet this week, this is really funny. Do we have audio coming out of my computer? I kind of hope we do. I don't know if we do. We might not have set this up right. Google's got this thing called Quick Draw, which is very funny, and we're totally screwing it up because you're supposed to have audio. But basically, it's playing Pictionary with an AI, which sounds like a great idea, but basically, like check this out. You have to draw a picture. It wants us to draw a bush in under 20 seconds. And normally, if we have sound on, which we don't, it just shouts at you as a robot, and we're going to see what he's saying down there, but I'm going to draw a bush. He sees matches.
I see matches. I see a bush. It is a bush.
Oh, I got to draw a nail. And most of the time, you know, you obviously...
That's a nail?
I see a line, ocean, rifle, seesaw, toothbrush. I see bench. How do you see a bench? Like, this is a robot trying to guess what... It's a nail.
That's not a nail.
Why not?
Because you put a nail top... People always... Who's going to hammer the nail like that? Now he's going to be like, oh...
You see stairs? What stairs?
Oh, this robot's losing his mind.
This robot doesn't know. Yeah, he can't guess it.
Nope. All
Draw
right.
a hedgehog. Gotta go
Sonic?
fast.
Fork,
feather, father hand. Is that Sonic?
Butterfly. You got to give him a big nose. You
gotta draw Sonic the Hedgehog. This is really hard. I'm drawing with a trackpad too. Yeah. He's got that weird little bee butt.
Yeah.
Yeah, draw a golf club.
Okay, this
anyway,
we'll be able to do. Do this one. Hold on. He's
Draw
got
a golf
this.
club?
Yeah,
I think I can draw a golf club.
We got this one for sure. I know it's a sporting good, but you can figure this out. Why do you always put them sideways and weird?
I don't know.
Who's gonna play golf like that? What is that?
Baseball bat, garden hose. Dude, get it together. Screwdriver, seesaw. I don't know, there's a ball. You want me to draw the ball?
Who golfs like that?
Clearly, I'm not a golfer. Yeah, so anyway.
Do a trumpet.
Can I draw a trumpet?
Yeah, draw a trumpet.
Okay.
Are you gonna put it sideways or upside down? What the
It's really hard. It's hard to draw, okay?
You're a good artist, too.
I'm drawing with one finger on a trackpad.
I see a sailboat. I see
Come
a
on, that
speedboat,
kinda looks
diving
like a
board.
tru-
It is
like
a
a
trumpet.
bugle.
I ate my whale. Good night.
That wasn't even me. That screwed up. There's
That classic Dizzy Gillespie instrument.
Draw a goatee. You're not
Oh,
going
this is
to get
easy.
that.
Yeah, you got this.
Okay.
Yeah. A telephone. It's a goatee. He got it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Anyway,
that's
so if you're a giant idiot like us and you have brain problems and you like messing with an AI, see what happens when you draw certain types of genitalia. That's fun to draw.
That is a very sick thing to look at.
Hopefully the robot gets smarter and it will be better at guessing our pictures. But yeah.
But right now it's a real dolt.
Yeah.
All right, we did it.
real
That's pretty
dumb.
much everything we had planned.
That's the show.
So now we get to do that cool thing where we just hang out.
We got 8 minutes to kill because Zach was rushing us like he does. Anyway, yeah. So what's going on with you? What are you excited about?
So we got a comment over here using the hashtag #UpAtNoon, which you can use to interact with us on the fly, and please do right now because obviously we need some conversation.
Yeah.
Man, so many good ones here. Daniel Saldana says a Gargoyles remake would be sick. Would you want to see like a live action version of that?
We got enough. You got on my case because you were like, nobody wants to see a Gargoyles, and I got real mad because I did, and then I found an article that was about how Disney was doing a live-action Gargoyles movie, and I sent it to you, and I was like, in your face, Brian! And then I looked at it, it was an April Fool's post, so I felt dumb about that. I would love to see Disney do like the kind of like, their big blockbuster action approach to Gargoyles. I feel like, something like Pirates of the Caribbean, that tone would work really well. That show is dark, by the way.
Yeah, it was really good.
There's one where one of the Gargoyles accidentally shoots a cop. Like, that happens on that show.
Really?
Their friend Elisa Mazza, good old, I don't know, I think it was Lexington, maybe, the fat one. He's, like, messing around with a gun because he watches too many TV shows. And he shoots her. And then he freaks out, and he's like, it's like a very special Gargoyles episode.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, that show got dark. I want a Mighty Max movie.
Okay.
Obviously, I want a Mighty Max movie.
You know what'd be awesome if they just did a live-action Disney Afternoon movie, and it was just like 4 30-minute individual, like, human versions?
Dude, like, Jungle Book was sick, but I want Tailspin. Like, put some clothes on those animals and make them fly planes. Give me some Sky Pirates. That was a cool show. Obviously, a Goofy movie, I don't want that because that would be weird because those are all like humanoid dog people.
Yep.
It either has to be like, here are cartoon people or here are cartoon animals. Anthros in live action is terrifying. Just watch Jupiter Ascending. They make Channing Tatum a dog dude.
I don't want to watch that movie.
Don't watch that movie. It's not a good movie.
Isn't it like 4 hours long, too?
It's a very
like
long
really
film.
long?
Yeah, real weird. I like a lot of the parts of that movie, but it's not a good film. Have you seen The Arrival yet?
No, have you?
I have not seen it. Everyone's saying that's a real good movie.
Yeah, I want to go see that.
It's like good movie time again. We have those kind of ebb and flow of movie releases, much like much like games. Doctor Strange, I still need to see.
Yep.
I want to see Bad Santa 2 really badly.
Yeah, I'll actually probably see that before I see the rest of those because that looks like a good time. We can sneak a flask into that theater.
That's a good, that's a good flask.
Clay Cuban says, "Do you guys eat lunch before or after the show?" This is always a big battle for us because we're hungry boys.
Yeah, we eat after the show. It's kind of a bummer because like. We'll be talking about fast food or, snackies or whatever, and then, sometimes we're sponsored by snackies, and then we just like, we get our tummies all grumbling.
We have a ton of caffeine on Thursday mornings.
Yeah.
Like just tons.
It's probably unhealthy.
Yeah, it's really bad.
Yeah. It's a weird time to do a show, honestly.
Do we have any comments from YouTube or Twitch? What's going on over there with you guys?
Mezuki64 on YouTube says, Elisa Maza and Demona, best waifus. That's a sentence I did not expect to read, but then again, 2016 has been a year of surprises.
Who are those people?
Demona's the sexy gargoyle lady from Gargoyles.
Really?
Yeah.
YKM says a live-action gummy bears would be nightmare fuel.
Yeah, I don't like that. I also don't like that they're called the gummy bears.
Why?
I just didn't like that. I was kind of confused because I'm like, are they supposed to be eaten? I don't like the idea of empathizing with candy that's supposed to be kind of carefree. Like gummy bears, the food are already kind of like, they've got enough personality. Do you remember those old commercials where they were like dancing around and stuff?
Yeah.
The Amazing Gummy Bears or whatever. Those were pretty cool.
I don't like when they humanize those things because I eat them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point.
You and I went to town on a couple bags of gummies.
We eat a lot of gummy. It's
we really
weird.
do.
Yeah.
We had cherry bombs. We had. I
Yeah,
want
they
to
were
talk about
full
the
of-
difference
full of goo.
between Trolley and Haribo. Trolley is like,
Oh God, here we go.
you're cool over there, man. I get what you're doing right now, but Haribo is really like that's the top of the game right there. Haribo is the Cadillac of gummy bears, and Trolley is kind of like a rental car.
Haribo is like champagne. Trolley is like sparkling wine. It's like one of those things. Like Haribo, I'm pretty sure is a town in Germany.
Yep.
I don't know that for sure. It probably isn't. I went to Germany and I came back with I think 5 pounds of gummies.
Yep.
Like I was just stocking up. I did something really dumb. I obviously, when I'm buying Haribo, I base my choices on not so much on the flavors because A, they're in German, and B, it's gummy. I don't care.
Yep.
But more on the pictures and the shapes. They have vampires. They have vampires out of gummy year-round. Apparently, they're much more accepting of vampire food in Germany.
Well, here's why: they're much more accepting of licorice, and that's what's so
right.
gross
Well,
about them.
that's what I screwed up on because I was like, oh, cool, goth candy. I want
Black
this.
cherry.
Yeah, but unfortunately, the Haribo vampires they're like little bats that are like the bats part is black licorice, and then the wings are like fruit.
Yep.
So I think I ate them begrudgingly. I think I still have a bag, but obviously because I'm an idiot, I bought like 5 bags of that, and then there's other stuff that was way better, like Tutti Frutti, and like I think they were babies maybe. They were like mouths with teeth in them. They got cool gummies in Germany.
Babies?
If you ever go to Europe, get some gummies. They're great.
David Joseph Wesley says, "Do you guys drink alcohol before or after the show?"
Nope. I wish.
We do not. I'm not really a morning boozer type of man.
Yeah, I mean the show's called Up at Noon, so like
It should
the
be.
most disingenuous thing about this show is that you are one of the most functional morning people I've ever met.
Yeah, it's.
you got-
I mean, I was literally up. My alarm went off at 6 a.m. this morning, and I got up. I made a pot of coffee. I sat down and I started making images for this show.
Yeah.
Which is what I do every single Thursday morning, and I have been for years, even since the Greg Miller days. Yeah, it's actually kind of funny that we have again, shout out to Greg Miller. Kind of funny that we have a show called Up at Noon, and I'm up at 6 a.m. like a goddamn farmer.
Yeah, I'm absolutely not a morning person. I'm kind of a night owl, and I tend to sleep in, and I'd have to drag myself out of bed every morning. But I hate it. Like I wish I was a morning person. I wish I had that urge to go to bed as a sleepy boy.
Yeah.
And take a nice nap.
Well,
I can take a nice nap right now.
You can. You can go to sleep later.
Yeah.
And you watching, you can go to sleep whenever you want because all we needed was for you to watch this show. You did it.
Yeah.
We did it together. We made it. Thanks for riding out this last few minutes. Remember that Trolley, they're trying, man. They're doing their thing over
They
there.
got the neon sour
There'll
stuff
never
down.
be a Haribo.
Haribo's
Coming up
the-
next, James Duggan and Kyle O'Connor will be playing Overwatch on IGN Plays Live. I heard they're playing with that new character they just unlocked. His name's William.
Yeah, William.
Watch out for him.
He's not exciting. He's just a regular dude.
He's a
So,
school teacher.
Yeah, check
He'll
it out.
Beat your ass in detention.
Yeah, doesn't even have weapons.
I'm Brian. This is Max. This was Up at Noon. We will not be here next week because we're all going to go eat a big Thanksgiving turkey pile.
Thick
And
bird.
A
real,
big old
real
bird.
Big old bird.
So go get Hungry Munchies with your whole family, eat a big pot of cookies and crackers, and get nuts. We love you. Good night.
Bye.